and we might get a few more people coming, but what I thought, I would start the class by going over your gas law test quickly, especially the ones commonly missed. Is that okay, everybody? Because on your final, which for this class will be next Monday, it will open at 8 a.m. and you'll have until midnight Monday to complete it. It will be, unless I send an email out, it will be located on D2L, your Chemistry 1110 PO1, where you've been submitting stuff to the assignments tab. You'll just simply go to the quiz tab, and before you start, it'll be called Chemistry 1110 Final Exam. You've got to make sure that you are compatible with the Honor Lock, and they're recommending you have to have the browser Chrome. But this was all in that link I sent you guys, and many of you have emailed me back, you're good to go. You just need to verify that. Be looking for an email from me on Sunday reminding you of when this final exam will start. Okay, with that said, what I'm going to do is share the screen and pull up, or maybe not. Where's Chem 101? Let's see. Do y'all see this now?
Yes.
Okay. The first one, it's giving the statistics on, how many people got the first one correct. Standard temperature and standard pressure, the answer should have been 273.15 Kelvin, and the pressure was 1 atmosphere. As I do this is about the speed I'm going to go. If you need me to, write it out and show you why, I mean, there's some of them that I'll write out. Okay, number 2, what you had to do there is you would take your 5 liters, 5.00 L, times 1 mole over 22.4 liters, because you're going to cancel your liters and get to moles, times 44 grams per mole. That's the molar mass of that propane. The answer should have been 9.84. And I know this is fast, but you can go back now and look at feedback. Okay, on number 3, this is a Dalton's law partial pressure. We're giving you the total pressure. We're giving you 0.70 atmospheres of gas A. You simply subtract to get the 1.30 atmospheres of gas B. Okay. Number 4 was commonly missed, and I think Nick is the one that made a comment that it had a decimal error in the moles. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and then I'm going to write this one out. Okay. This particular reaction is your copper recovery lab reaction. I don't even know why I'm emphasizing that, because y'all don't have to take the lab final this semester. If we were going to give you the lab final, you would have needed to know this reaction. Let me balance.
I did find looking at past labs helpful on tests, because there was stuff in those notes that we might not have had in class.
I'm sorry, you did find what?
I found looking at the old lab notes and the experiments good for looking at other variations of problems.
Yeah, okay. I'm almost finished writing this out, but it's similar to one. If I'm taking time doing this, there's a reason for it. So here, let me hold this one up. And I'm emphasizing something. Okay. This is the reaction they gave you, and it was already balanced. Oh, by the way, on your lecture final, you can't assume the reactions we give you are balanced. Check. If they've got coefficients, they're probably balanced. If they don't, that means you need to balance it. Okay, anyway, back to this reaction. We start you with 2.01 grams. That's the molar mass of copper metal. You get moles. That's a solid. You need to get over here to the gas. You use your mole ratio. Yes, on the feedback, this number was not written correctly, but I think the final answer is still right. I haven't finished the problem yet. All that did was get my N. Okay. So then they give you a temperature, and you simply add 273.15 to that. So let me write this out. They give you a pressure, and you had to subtract the water vapor pressure from it, not add, subtract. Let me write it out. I can't remember if it was in torr or millimeters of mercury, but it doesn't matter.
It's millimeters of mercury.
Thank you. Okay. And then, okay, hold on. We're almost done. Okay, here we go. Oops. So this step here was to get the moles of the gas. That's your N. This step was to convert your temperature to Kelvin. That's your T. This step was to take your barometric pressure minus your water vapor pressure, convert that to ATM. Many of you on your work said 0.9237 or 38 or whatever. That's fine, because you're still going to get this volume. Oh, let me let this person in, sorry. Are there any questions? That was number 4. For those just entering, I'm going over your gas law test, because there are 4 or 5 questions on your final exam dealing with gas laws. Hold on, let me. Yes, he came in. Okay, here we go. So that was number 4. Let me go back to share screen. And God, I can't even remember. Oh, it's this one. Okay, so we just did number 4. This one, oh my gosh. Well, it says here, only 4 of you got it right. You forgot bromine is diatomic. If you set up the equation correctly and all you forgot was that it's Br2, I gave you in other words, I only took -2 out of 4. But if you had the formula even written wrong, -4. Do any of you need me? I did in my feedback, I put some little notes. Do any of you need me to set this one up? Yes or no? I mean, I can stop share, write the formula, and show you.
No, we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, on number 6, only 6 of you got this right. Hold on, only 6 of you got this one right, so maybe I should set that one up. Let me, hold on. I'm going to stop share. The main mistake on number 6, it is a combined gas law, and some of you didn't change the temperatures to Kelvin. And then another mistake was the algebra. So let me write, hold on, I'm going to just write the numbers. And then I don't know that I need to actually set it up. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. If I had known I was going to do this, I would have had this written out. I was helping Dr. Burns and Dr. Damzik doing the 11:20 final. So I had to prove 50 questions this morning. Okay, hold on. I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay.
Before you hold your paper up.
I
you're
am
on the
gonna,
screen.
okay, I'm gonna stop share just for a sec. Okay, on that problem, this is number 6. It gave you an initial volume, 200 milliliters, an initial pressure in torr, an initial temperature in Celsius. That has to be converted. It's asking for the new volume. They give you the second pressure. They said that the temperature doubled, or maybe they gave you that temperature. I don't know. It has to be converted. This is the formula you're plugging in using your algebra, which V2 then is going to equal. I'm going to see if I can do this backwards. P1 V1 T2 divided by T1 P2. Now, I did go back and look at work. So if you see, if I took off, maybe, let's see, the final answer was 203 milliliters. Maybe a student had this perfectly set up with the numbers in it and had, I'm making up something, 230 milliliters. Well, okay, I gave, maybe -1. Are there any questions with this problem? Again, for those just entering the room, I'm going over this because I know it will help on your final. The next problem, the next 2 are pretty easy. Okay, let's see, oh my gosh, number 7. Oxygen's collected over water after decomposing silver oxide. The barometric pressure, note, centimeters. You have to convert that to millimeters first. And then you subtract the 21.004. And then you divide by 760. That's all you had to do on that problem. The answer there is 0.9484 ATM. Do any of you need me to show the work on that? Are we good?
Yes.
That should not have been missed by, 6 students. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Especially when you go back to your notes. I specifically did one of those. Okay, number 8. This is the one that many of you missed because you didn't even write the reaction. I'm giving you, at a hot temperature, 212 degrees Celsius is pretty darn hot. I'm giving you CH3CO, CH3. We're reacting it with oxygen. That's called combustion. And we're forming CO2 and water. So you balance, and I give you the volume is 312 milliliters of oxygen. And I'm simply wanting to know the volume of steam. Okay, I'm going to set this up. This shouldn't have been missed either. Okay, let me stop share. 4-point problem. You write the reaction, you balance it. The conditions are the same. Give you the volume of oxygen, do a mole ratio to steam. The answer should have been, well, darn, I don't have it on my paper. Hold on. Why don't I have it on my paper? I don't know. 234 milliliters. I'm going to write that because when I do it together. Are there any questions with that? Why did we miss that?
I don't have my notes on me, but I think I just screwed up balancing the equation. I know that for sure.
Okay. Okay,
Ma'am, can you hold it up again, please?
sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the last one. Yeah, the last one was missed too. Let me go back to this will be the last of it popping back and forth. I just wanted to show you the problem. And many of you already looked at your feedback. I know Nicholas did, but okay, anyway, here we go. The last one. Since helium is lighter than air, it is difficult to measure the mass of a sample. So to find out the mass of helium in a balloon, a student has, okay, I'm just gonna like paraphrase now. Volume given, temperature given, make sure it's in Kelvin, pressure given, solve for moles. Once you get in, that times helium's molar mass is 4 grams per mole. Done. The answer should have been 0.745 grams. I don't know why we missed that. So I'm going to just write the formula and I'm going to write the numbers. Okay, pressure was 3.04. Volume was 1.50. R we know. Oh, this is another thing that I was amazed at. Some of you were using a different R. I didn't teach you the 8.314. Okay, N equal. Okay, this is it set up. This is the level of difficulty on your final exam. Okay, here we go. Famous law. They give you 3 out of 4 of the letters. R is known. R is given, guys. Solve for N. Make sure you convert your temperature to Kelvin. You get your N. Well, it's helium gas. That's all you had to do. That is all you had to do.
I think I did this one, but I didn't do the second part where you multiply N by 4 grams of helium. That's what I think I did.
Okay, well, did I give you partial credit?
I don't know where to check.
If you got N as 0.186, I probably should have taken off at most 2 points. Did y'all, okay, let me ask the class. I mean, this took me forever to grade. Did y'all see that I wrote on feedback? Like, hey, forgot bromine is diatomic. Or, hey, you should have balanced the reaction and simply used a mole ratio on gases. I spent time doing that, guys. So let me go over that, and let me go over this part. Okay, we've done the gas law part. That's over. Let me explain. Let's see. I'm going to have to share my screen again because this was in an email that I sent.
Yeah, I did it, and you didn't give me no. I don't think you'll give me no extra point for it.
Well, and we'll see if if I can make heads or tail out of your work. We'll see. I sent an email, and for some reason I'm not able to. Let's see if I get rid of this. Let's close this.
I have 2 real quick questions.
Okay.
On number 9,
Yes.
I think I messed up my decimals. Like I put 74.6 instead of 7.746.
Uh-huh.
Like, is there any way I can get any points for that?
Well, if I'll go back and look at your work, I should have, if it was just a decimal error, I should have taken off at most -1.
Okay, so it doesn't show on Chem 101, it just shows on the actual D2L.
Did you go to your assignments tab to see the updated grade? Here, oh gosh,
If you go into Brightspace and then go to the feedback on her assignment, she gives you the breakdown of what points she gave you.
Okay, okay, thanks.
yeah, for instance, oh gosh, I didn't bring it up here. For instance, let's say a student made 11 out of 30 on Chem 101. Then I went to Brightspace and looked under show work for test 5, your uploaded work. And then I looked at all, if some of you didn't even number the problems.
Yesterday at 3 o'clock, you send out an email that explains it all.
Thank you. Well, actually, I will say this, Nick, yesterday I sent it out earlier than 3 o'clock and then found out when my Zoom class didn't meet at 10:45, any class distribution email that any of the instructors sent yesterday until 11 a.m. didn't go to the students. And I only found that out because here I'm waiting for my Zoom class to start at 10:45. Nobody's showing up. And then I'm starting to get all these individual emails. So I had to get out of that meeting, schedule a new meeting. They still didn't get the email until after 11. It was awful. Yesterday was awful. And so when I called the help desk after my hour-long lecture, they said, oh, we had problems with the class distribution email. If you sent to your classes anything, which I did send to y'all, hey, this is how I graded your test 5. I had to resend it. Okay, that's enough. I'm gonna take a breath now. What's done is done. But again, back to say a student had an 11 out of 30, and then I looked at the work and I said, okay, -2 here instead of -4. -1 here instead of -3. I mean, I'm making up stuff. Then I added those points back. Then I added them to your 20-point thing on the chapter 10. Now we've got a total of 50 possible points. Then I went back, and if you did over half of your Chem 101 practices on chapter 10 and chapter 11, I gave you anywhere from 3 to 5 points. So the test grades went up. Nick, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sure Nick does. How about Eric? Eric,
Yes.
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gave me my point back because I had sloppy handwriting and wrote down the wrong temperature for the one I got wrong. So
Right, and I saw that. It's okay.
I looked at it. I was like, well, I mean, I can see why I thought that number, but I had it correct earlier in the problem.
You did.
My 7 and 9s are just a little
You
close
just
together.
plugged it in. I get it. And so okay, guys, I did this for 5 class. Well, actually, I haven't done it for my last class yet. It takes some time. So go back, email me. I can't wait. I can't wait for more emails. Email me like, hey, I mentioned in class that I did number 9, but I didn't do the times 4 grams per mole, Francois. If I did not give you credit, email me back and that'll remind me to go back, okay?
Okay, I don't know if you did or not. I just have to double check. That's what I said. I don't think. I know I didn't do the second part, but I haven't checked the feedback grade yet, so that's what I said.
Yeah, well, check the feedback first, please. Everybody check the feedback first. If your feedback score is higher than your Chem 101 score, chances are I gave you partial credit here and there. I'm just saying. They would never be lower. Well, I take that back. One student didn't submit any work at all. Not in this class. It's okay.
What was the average on this test?
It's in my book downstairs. I will average all of the Chem, the test 5s the gas laws, and then I'll send an email to everybody. It's down in my book and I didn't bring it up here. Anyway, okay, so that's enough of gas laws. Do y'all have any questions on chapter 12 stuff? On your final exam, let me glance. There are 4 questions dealing with concepts from chapter 12. Questions? Do we have any questions with like the phase diagram or you definitely, guys, you have to know phase diagram. You definitely have a heat problem involving phase change, and the specific heats, the heat of vaporization, the heat of fusion numbers are given in that problem. So that's going to be a strong hint. Oh, if there's a temperature change, I use heat equal mass times specific heat times temperature change. If it's a phase change, solid to liquid or liquid to gas, you just use mass times the delta H. These numbers are provided in the word problem. It's a fairly straightforward problem. It's not a 5-step. I know I taught last time 5 steps just to max it out to show you the concept, but you need to know how to do that. You need to know all about intermolecular forces and the trends. And then some of the, I'll just hold it up. Some of this stuff was just fill in the blank definition concept. So, are there any questions with chapter 12?
So a quick question, ma'am. If we go back just studying with our tests and stuff, will we be fine for the final?
No. Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to share the screen again. I sent out, come on. Why is this not coming up? Oh, it's taking its time. Hold on. Your best study guide? Yeah, I mean, you should have been glancing at your corrected test. But your best study guide, there is a reason I prepared this packet. If I have a word listed in this topics include, it means you're going to have a question on it. Now, where am I guiding you with this? Okay, let's see. Let me find one. Calorimetry. Y'all see that word about 5 down? Calorimetry. Here's a calorimetry problem. That means you're going to have one like that on your final. Okay, let's do this one. Oh, density. Specific gravity word. Well, let's see. Did I mention those words? Oh, yeah, here they are. Are y'all following what I'm trying to say here?
Yes, ma'am.
If you do this packet, that is a good study guide for your lecture final. And where there's some, in red are the numerical answers. Now, I didn't draw stuff out. I didn't draw the structures out, but, maybe start working on it and ask me or send an email. Hey, on number 11, I'm just making this up. On number 11, how would I figure out which of the above would hydrogen bond to its neighbor? Well, this is called intermolecular forces. And I went over that last time. This is a limiting reactant problem and a net ionic. There's a net ionic. It's one of the last questions on your final. So to answer your question, Francois, do this packet. Do this packet. You can ask me questions on Friday. You can email me through the weekend.
I am already working on it. So I just like because I remember you said in class that to um go back and like do corrections on our tests
Yes.
because it will help for the final. That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah, it will. It will. And, you know, your first 3 tests I gave while we were still on campus, those question concepts were on your midterm. I've only given 2 questions since spring break. And I'm sorry, 2 tests since spring break. And those concepts are going to be on, like, say, the second half of your final. Well, you know, I say it the wrong way. They're going to be scrambled. They're randomized now. You know, for instance, Francois, when you go and sign up to take the test, your number 1 might be a Lewis dot picture. And then Nicholas' number 1 might be the density question. I mean, they're all going to be scrambled.
Okay.
But if you can do this packet, Felicia, are you still here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Felicia, did I send that same packet to my 1120 students?
The
The 1110 part. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I sent it out before spring break because Julie started working on it during one of my Saturday sessions.
Now I remember having both the ACS copies.
I sent out because Kevin Reed asked, please send us something that we can start reviewing for 1110. And it's that same packet that these 1110 students just got. Why I'm bringing it up, Felicia, you need to be working on that packet also for your final.
Yes, ma'am.
You let me know in the next class coming up if you cannot find that packet, because that means I'll send it back out to all the 1120 students.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm even bringing that up, guys, Felicia is your peer tutor and she has tutoring hours. If she's working on the packet and you also have questions with the packet, she can probably help you do it. Mallory, any of those tutors that have had me for 1110 in that ERC and they do this virtual tutoring, they have done this packet. Anyway, so I got a little bit off subject. Back to chapter 12. Are there any questions from the chapter 12 material? Or there are 4 main concepts in no particular order: phase diagram, intermolecular forces, heat involving phase changes, and then I ended the lecture last time with just a simple difference between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. So any of those 4 topics, do y'all need me to repeat or summarize any of those?
Okay, so on the questions where you're saying where they would connect, it's like the Lewis structure you drew where the oxygen and hydrogen were on the end and then you flipped it over. So that's what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
like on the chapter 12 review, there was one that had
Do you remember? I mean, I've got it in front of me. Do you remember the number?
yeah, it has sulfur. No, wait. I just remember there was the S was in the diagram, so that would be the where the bond is.
Are you talking about this picture?
No, on the chapter 12 review packet that you just showed. Hang on, let me pull it up. I'll get the question number.
Oh, it says which compound has the higher boiling point, H2S or H2O? I'm not following what you're asking, but I mean, I've got it here in front of me. If you can tell me the number, I'll draw it out. Well, here, we could go over just a few of these, especially the intermolecular ones. Because I mean, these are the type questions on your test. Okay, here's question 1. Which one of these would have the higher boiling point? Well, it's going to be this one.
Water.
Right, because it will hydrogen bond to its neighbor. And how you know that when you draw it, okay, all I did was I drew one water. Do not label these lines as hydrogen bonds. They are not. They're polar covalent bonds. But when you draw water to its neighbor, and I'm going to use a blue, that's the hydrogen bond. Anything that has the ability to hydrogen bond will have a very high boiling point. Okay, so that's one of my, that was
And
number
that's oxygen, fluorine, and nitrogen, correct?
N, O, or F. Yeah, like I'll do an ammonia one. Say I have this molecule. Okay, say this is ammonia. Do not draw or label these lines as hydrogen bonds. They are not. The hydrogen bond, hold on. Again, I'm going to use my little blue squiggle. The nitrogen of one molecule will hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of its neighbor. That blue line and this blue line are the hydrogen bonds. Okay, there's one more on here. And we don't even draw the picture for you. We just tell you, we give you isopropyl alcohol. Well, there's more than just one more. I'm just picking a couple of these. And then, I mean, if y'all want me to draw them, I can. But, okay, it's simply saying, if I have 2 alcohols here, and I give you their boiling points, which one of these would have to have the larger structure, therefore the greater molar mass?
Butyl.
Yeah, this one, because it has the higher boiling point. Exactly. These are the kind of questions on your final. That's why I did what I did on this. That's why I've always created these practices. Okay, so Nick, did you go back and is there another one that I've skipped that you meant? Because you mentioned sulfur. Anybody?
Yeah, I found it. It's the final review, number 11.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you meant chapter 12. Sorry. Okay.
So I had the number of the problem wrong. But like number A, where it's got the sulfur at the end of the chain.
Yeah,
That
hold
one-
on. Sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me final review. It's right here. Okay, number 11. Yes, go ahead. Excuse me.
So on there, it has which one can have an H bond with its neighbor. The
Okay.
only one is either B or C, correct? Because one has nitrogen and the other one has fluorine.
The thing is, I am glad you're bringing this up. The only one that can hydrogen bond is B. And here's why. Let me draw them. I'm going to draw B first. And then maybe you'll see why. Okay, let me hold the paper up. This is B. So yes, there is a hydrogen bonded to either N, O, or F. This molecule will hydrogen bond to its neighbor. Now let me draw C. This is what I mean. Y'all have to draw this stuff or you're not going to get them right. Okay, here, I'm almost done, sorry. I know, I have, okay. Let me hold this up and then I'm going to ask the class something that I have a feeling I know what the answer is going to be, but. Okay, this is letter C.
It's real
CH3,
small again.
I'm sorry, what?
You have the screen share on, so
Oh,
it's real
sorry.
tiny.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, this is the nitrogen one, and yes, this will hydrogen bond to its neighbor. This one, even though there's a fluorine and an oxygen, they don't have a hydrogen attached to them. This one will not hydrogen bond. Do you see the difference, Nick?
Correct. I was just trying to use it as like a way to get started so you didn't have to draw all four, like if it was a multiple choice on a problem.
You're gonna have to draw. Okay, let me ask this.
Well, no, I knew you'd need to draw, but like, so you didn't have to draw four. If you knew only nitrogen and fluorine could hydrogen bond, that would cut down on how many you had to draw.
Oh, I see. I get it what you're saying now.
Since the questions will be multiple choice. So if the answers were all four of them.
Right. And I actually don't know if we put it where you had to draw all four, but I get what you're saying. Your final, guys, Monday. Would you like me to hold a Saturday Zoom meeting in the morning for like an hour, hour and a half to go over last minute questions on these packets?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Okay. I'm going to offer this to, all my classes. Because I mean, normally I would have been meeting with y'all Saturday, but okay. So I'm going to say, how about 10 to 11:30? Is that too early?
Sounds
Or
good.
would you rather 9 to 10:30? Okay, we'll just do 10 to 11:30. And it'll be, that time slot will be strictly 11:10 stuff. Now, I'm going to offer it to all 5 of my classes because they all 5 should be doing that 11:10 packet that Nick was just referring to. Okay, we good with that? Okay, next question or concept you want me to go over?
So Dr. L brought it up on my lab sheet. So when you're doing like Kelvin conversions, you can just go ahead and simplify down to 1 decimal since most temperature is given in 1 decimal on labs.
Right, so, okay, let me say something about that. On Chem 101, which this is one thing I didn't like about Chem 101, they didn't really obey sig figs. But on your 11:10 final, we will. Okay, so let's say in lab, you have this measurement. And you're right, all thermometers in lab go 1 decimal place. And then you're plugging it in to a PV equals nRT. So you add 273.15. So you get 297.25. But look what I did. You have
Because it's an even number with a 5 after it, so you don't round up, correct?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree that sometimes Chem 101 does that.
Oh, they did it a lot. That's why, well, my colleagues that use Chem 101, they really only use it for quizzes or homework. I did not know about the test bank of the Burge book on D2L until recently. And it doesn't matter. All those questions are out. Students can use Chegg, whatever, and get the answers. So Chem 101 was less likely for them to do that. And then I wasn't as picky with the numerical answer. Like for instance, say it was 0.745 grams and a student put 0.747 grams, you shouldn't have been docked. You shouldn't have been docked. As long as you showed three, three places. Anyway, yeah, don't get me started.
I mean, sometimes they'll give us a point if it's kind of similar to their
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. I got to put a percent, what's it called? A range. Like say the answer on the voltage was 1.18 volts. I accepted between 1.14 to 1.25. There was a percent range that I was allowed to give. Now, if they put, actually, I can't say it was 1.14 and the student put 1.1, they might still have gotten it right. And that's what I mean. Chem 101 didn't do sig figs.
Yeah.
It's okay. Guys, we've only got a couple more days and then the final. We can get through this. Okay, another question or concept you want me to go over. I will, let me make my note. I will do the average for test 5 for each class. I have 3 of them, and then I'll do the overall, and I'll email that out. You know what? How about I wait and email it when I email you guys the ID for Friday. That way you're not getting 2 emails from me, just 1.
Let me ask you this question. You said for the final, the staff we're gonna get more from the second test from now, or it's everything from the first day to now?
Oh, the final exam, Francois, is from the first day.
Okay.
It's, for instance, if you go back to my review, okay, you remember you had quantum numbers and electron configuration.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those questions are still on your final.
Okay.
Yeah. And that final, I typed with help from my colleagues, input. When I typed the test, I tried to keep it in order of chapter 1 comes before chapter 2, chapter 3, etc. And so the last question used to be a phase diagram. Well, now they're all going to be randomized because we only had time to do 2 versions, and we're trying to, prevent the cheating for lack of a whatever. So what I was saying is your first question may be a gas law problem, but then Nick's first question could be calorimetry. They're going to be randomized.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I will say they are not as detailed. There are things like quantum number L = 2 describes which subshell, A, B, C, D. Well, quantum number L = 2, which subshell is it? Is it S, P, D, or F? I'm asking. Somebody? If you have quantum number L = 2, which subshell are you talking about?
P.
It's
D.
D.
D. Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Because it starts with 0 and it goes to 3.
Correct.
It's SPDF 0, 1, 2, 3.
Right. Well, that to me, you either know that or you don't. That's not a picky, that should take you, what, 10 seconds, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. The majority of the final, you either know, like if we say, what is the formula for HBrO4? HBrO4. Well, you either know it's perbromic acid or you don't. Now, if we give you a reaction, grams of reactant, grams of the second reactant, then that becomes a more involved limiting reactant problem, correct?
Yeah.
So some of those out of 50, less than 15, I'm going to say about 12 of them, you might have to use a calculator. The rest of them, you either know it or you don't.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you're going to find, if you do my review packet, the final is going to seem less detailed or simpler than that packet, but you would have reviewed, oh, okay, yeah, I remember she asked about electron configuration. Okay, now you can do it. Or I asked about isoelectronic. Okay, now you can do it. Believe me, God, you do that packet, you should be fine. Next question.
I have a question.
Okay.
There's an assignment that's worth 20 points. Do we have to do it? It's like it's an activity.
What
It
activity?
was the video where you could go watch that conference and then write a paper on it.
Oh, okay.
That was
Is
a
that for extra credit?
no. What does it say? Activity webinar?
Yes.
Oh, that was done before spring break. That's when the student affiliate of ACS met and they talked about, some of you went to it. What did they talk about? Fake meat?
Yeah, it was like artificial meat products.
Right. That was earlier. That's over. No, the activities are finished. The last activity I gave y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't I only give 7 activities?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 7 was the last one.
So I'm taking the best 5.
Okay.
And then I'm still dropping your lowest test grade. And your points now, your lab points are not out of 250 anymore. They're out of 235. So your total points that you, well, I say that you could get, but some of you, if you got a lot of extra points, you could go over 985. But all you do is, instead of 1,000 points, it's now 985. You would just take 90% or 80% or 70% to see what your minimum points you would need to make that A, B, or C. And yes, there are going to be B pluses and C pluses. It's 87.5 or 77.5. You can figure this out. I'm hoping, since y'all are taking the final on Monday, I'm hoping to have all of this class and my PO2 class. Well, wait, I take that back. PO2 might not be taking. No, they're not. Okay, this class done by Tuesday. Now that's assuming that the lab people give me your lab grades or they complete them. To date, only one has emailed the lecture instructors that her lab grades are completed, and that's that Marguerite Dana. She's the only one that's got them completed so far. Okay, another question?
I guess one quick one for the you may have said this a second ago, so I may have missed it. But for the calculators, are we still using the small ones? There's still no.
Yeah, you cannot use graphing calculators. You may not. You have to use the scientific calculator. You're also, and if I didn't say it to this class, you're going to have to show and I don't even have mine here, a clean, non-written on periodic table. Now, Dr. V is probably going to put as a link to your final where you can, if you don't have a printer saying you can't print one of these, where you can only leave the exam to look at that link, which will be one of these. If if the constants are provided, or like a formula, like the calorimetry formulas provided, I'm referring to the heat equal mass times specific heat times temperature change. That formula and those constants are already in that problem. So you don't have to go to, say, a formula sheet. And we're working on that for the 1120. We're trying to put the formula that they would need, or say a molar mass that they might need, in the problem, so that they're not flipping back and forth. If you know, if we were at Hardin Valley, y'all would be given 2 pieces of scrap paper, the final exam, and a periodic table. But we're not there, and so it's going to be proctored. It starts for this class at 8 a.m. on Monday, but you'll have until midnight that day. You're only given 110 minutes, so it is a timed test. Are there any questions with that? I have been granted access to campus, and it's going to be sometime Monday. They haven't told me the appointment time, but I'm going to my office to get my attendance sheets, the things that y'all signed at the beginning of the semester, and then I'm going to get the scrap paper from the midterm so that I can compare for students their work. I can see if their work submitted was indeed their handwriting. And then there's some students that have stopped attending, and if they didn't formally drop, then I have to give them an F grade. But when you give an F grade, you have to report the last day that they attended. So that's why I need my attendance sheets. It's not so much for you guys. If you're all in this room, then you're probably going to attend even as late as Friday. So I'm just saying I need those 2 things.
Oh, Ms. Morris,
Yes.
am I allowed to let the students know something about the proctored exam?
Sure.
So my brother's taken a proctored exam with honor lock. You might want to do it in a room where there isn't like any papers visible anywhere, or a room with like almost nothing in it, because they will be doing a 360-degree scan or something like that. And also, you guys might want to get your ID ready.
Yeah, that you're going to need to show your ID. You're going to need to take your webcam and do a 360, because you're going to need to show your tabletop. You're allowed, you show blank papers. You'll show a periodic table, or I guess Dr. Veith might have the link established.
They
Yeah,
had me take my hat off
Did they?
because they
Oh,
kept
you've
like,
already-
yeah, I took one yesterday. If you look, they watch your eyes basically when you have your scan. So if I had my head down, like looking at my work, but my hat was on, it blocked any look in my eyes. So they asked me to take my hat
Oh.
off for it.
Well, see, that's good to know.
Yeah, they'll pop in pretty quick. If you have a couple of them, then I had a guy on a chat box that popped up and was asking me what was going on.
Yeah.
So with the case of the like engineering fundamental students, their test would get voided as soon as they made a sound, or so far I've heard.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it was like if you left the room, you get voided. If you had I think if you took a phone call, it was voided. There was like,
Yeah,
Mary's a little crazy.
I would leave my phone on silent in a different room. And if I was a student, I would have to probably lock my dog Gretchen outside because she would probably make noise.
Yeah, like when my brother took the test, I had to be in a separate room away from him so that I wouldn't be making any noise.
Right, right. I know. Look at what we've come to. Yeah. Okay, guys, well, I've got another class that I have to get ready for, but
Thank you for your help, Miss Morse.
you are welcome. I'm trying. If y'all are doing this review packet and you're just stuck on something, send me an email. You guys know, I mean, you're sending me emails and I'm responding back. But send me an email. Felicia can help you. Any of my former students that are tutors, that virtual tutoring, they can help you, especially if they were in my 1110 because they've already done this packet. Anyway, Felicia, you can stop recording. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And I'm going to end the meeting and I will see you guys on Friday.